praying for other folk, doing this, helping folk while we were stressing and struggling. I remember one time going into the bathroom in the extended stay that we were living in, and I was just done. I was done with God. I was done with everything. And I was like, I just don't know what else to do. And to see my family, sleeping in this extended stay, and then it's like, I just wanted to like crawl into a shell, and I was already an introvert. And so I went into the bathroom and went in the tub, and I closed the door. I made sure I didn't let my kids see me though. Went in that tub and I cried. And I was like in fetal position, and I just began to cry. And after that, I said, I'm gonna get up.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of A Mother Before Anything. I'm your host, Jazzidakid, and I'm here with another special mommy today. Before we get started, mommies, I want to ask you a question. Have you taken care of yourself today? Have you had a few moments by yourself? Have you took a moment to breathe? I don't care if it's 30 minutes. Take some time, and I need you to breathe. I need you to step aside from wherever you at. Well, I don't care if you're at work. I don't care if you're at home with them kids. Take a moment for yourself, because it's very important to breathe and just gather your thoughts. Catch them before they get too crazy. So do that for me today, okay? Love y'all. All right, shout out to our sponsors, wearelax.com. If you're looking for some relaxed fitting clothes, you can looking for some pajamas, some muumuus, baby girl, we got you at wearelax.com. Shout out to Positivity Alkaline Water, where we keeping it positive all the time. I want you to try it. I want you to try it.
Let me
Before they even know who you is, try it. Try it for yourself. It's some real good water.
Refreshing.
Definitely refreshing, y'all. Y'all can definitely get it from your local Walmart or just order online or whatever. Or just watch us drink it. Hey, hydrate yourself, though. But yeah, y'all. So I am here with a very special mommy today, y'all. I've actually known her since I was a very little girl. She was actually one of my daycare teachers. So yeah, she's like family. And yeah, she's a very inspiring woman. I love her relationship with Christ. I love who she is. Her family dynamic is actually super similar to mine as well, y'all. So I just want y'all to get to know who she is. She is a wife. She is a pastor. She's a businesswoman. And she's a mother, of course. So I want to introduce y'all to Miss Lakesha, Mrs. Lakesha Spears. Hey, Keisha.
Hey, hi, everyone.
So I want you to expand on who you are, because I know I said a little bit, but I want you to tell them who you are and what it is that you do. Yeah, can you kind of share with the audience?
Well, thank you first and foremost for having me here. I'm so excited to be on this show. But yeah, so I'm Lakesha Spears. I am the senior pastor of World Shakers Church. I'm a wife. I just made 24 years of marriage.
Woo! Hey!
It was not easy, y'all.
Okay,
but once we put God in the center, it can work. And then I'm a mother. I have 3 amazing, beautiful miracle children. Yes. I am an entrepreneur. I also work a job as well, too. So
that's crazy.
I wear many hats. I have a boutique, an online boutique called Bab Couture. And yeah, so I've been in ministry all of my life since I was a little girl. Also, I got my entrepreneurial skills from my mother. Shout out to Dr. Sherry Sims.
Shout out to Miss Sims. Period. One of a kind.
Like you were saying, I used to be her daycare teacher. Don't be trying to figure out my age.
It's gonna come out.
But yes, so that's where it all started. Becoming an entrepreneur. So the entrepreneurial spirit has been in my family forever. It started off with my great-great-grandfather. My great-grandfather had his own business, and it just kind of trickled down in the family. So yeah, and what else? I'm in school currently.
Dang, you're doing a lot.
Yes. So
love that for you.
Full-time mother, full-time wife, full-time pastor, full-time student.
God.
By the grace of God, I'm getting through it.
I know that's right. That's what's up.
Yes.
So, what age were you at when you became a mom? Can you kind of give us, how old were you when you started, or when you became a mom?
Yes. Yeah. So, I want to start with this. So, I couldn't have children.
Okay. And let's dig into that.
Yeah. So when I got married at 18, and I knew something was wrong because I was not getting pregnant. And so my husband and I, we had started to go see a doctor to see like what's going on, if it was me or him or, you know, what it was. But I remember many a nights crying and praying to God, like, I want kids one day, because I knew something was wrong from the age of 18 until I actually got pregnant at 22. I was like almost 23, I believe. And so, so we started seeing a doctor, and the doctor was saying like, yeah, there's something wrong. Because I've been with my husband since I was 15, doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Being fast tail.
So yeah, we were doing grown folk stuff.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have been doing that.
So the first time that you were you trying to get pregnant at 18? Or?
So we weren't using any like contraceptives or protection. So it was like, we just knew something was not right. And then everyone at that time around us was getting pregnant and things like that. And so I knew like, we've been together all this time, and
something might be going on.
Something was definitely going on. And so I remember this prophet coming into me. I was like at a women's event, and she placed her hand on my belly, and she was like, God said he's healing your womb. And I just like literally lost it, because nobody knew but me and my husband at the time. And so now fast forward to
before we fast forward.
Okay.
When you were 18, you weren't necessarily trying, but you knew that you wasn't. Did you actually go to the doctor?
Yes. So we did go to the doctor. We were just about to start looking into getting, like, we had like some consultations, and we were just about to start looking into like how much it'd be to figure out like what's really going on.
What made you go though? That's what I'm saying, because you just wasn't.
Because I never got pregnant, never had a miscarriage, nothing.
You wanted to though? That's what I'm saying.
I wanted a baby.
No. I'm saying I think I'm questioning. I'm using the question wrong. Let me rephrase it. Like, was there something that triggered you wanting to go to the hospital, find out why you're not getting pregnant?
Oh, absolutely. So not at 18. I think it was around, I was 21.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm like, what's going on? Like, we never been pregnant, and you know, like what's happening? So that's what kind of triggered it. And then when we went to a doctor's appointment one time, I had found this family doctor, and when we went to the appointment, we kind of inquired about it, and then they started telling us things like with the male, and then with me, what could be wrong or whatever. So yeah, that's what triggered it.
Did they ever actually give you a diagnosis or something to say why?
No. So that is a great question, because right when we were like kind of looking into that, we were just setting up appointments to do that, and then I got pregnant.
Ooh, and this was after the prophet.
Yes.
And so
and between that time, it was a lot of crying and tears and stress and you know, seeing everyone else around us being pregnant, that's our age. And some of my family, a lot of my family, people in my family get married young for some reason. But so
people want to be managed. That's why.
Well, the Bible says it's better to marry than to burn. See, they used to put that, they used to shove that down our throats, but they didn't teach us that when you get married, like, you're going to go through some stuff.
Absolutely.
So I think we was thinking, like, that's
people want to be managed, and they want to be right being managed.
Exactly.
I thought that, so.
It was good in the eyes of the Lord. We don't want to sin. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Let's be honest about it.
Yes.
Let me get back to
true story.
So I mean, so everybody wanted to get married young, but when was there something that happened prior to, but like right before you got pregnant? Is there something that like it was just a bunch of crying, like you said, but was there something that like clicked or something that just gave you a sign that you was about to be pregnant aside from the prophet?
Yeah, I see. So at that time, I wasn't as spiritually tuned. I knew that I would hear from God, but I was still questioning it at a lot of times or whatever. So I was unsure. So there was many a times that my cycle was late, and then I would be like, oh, is we pregnant? So we've been to the Dollar Tree. Shout out to Dollar Tree.
Shout out Dollar Tree.
Y'all owe us Dollar Tree. But they had those pregnancy
tests.
They
still do.
They work.
I will get mine from there.
So don't be going all to Walgreens and everywhere buying
$15, $20.
No. So somebody's like, go get it at Dollar Tree. So, I mean, we would go get it and be scared to look at the test or whatever. And so all those times it was just like a dead end. And then, so I never had like a a moment where it's like, oh, this is it or whatever. I had that feeling again where it's like, oh, my cycle is late.
Yeah.
But I did feel a little different that time.
What you feel?
I was trusting God more too, though.
Okay.
I was trusting God, and I said, well, God, you know what we want, and your word says that you will give us the desires of our heart.
Yeah.
And so we decided to stand together to trust him, but not like think about it anymore too much, because what the enemy was doing, he was showing us that everybody else is pregnant and like God
Making
forgot
your mind
about
think.
you. Yeah, exactly. And so we stopped. That's what I did different. I stopped focusing on what everybody else was doing and just started focusing on what we were doing. And then when I did that, it's like it just happened. It happened.
What was your reaction?
Oh my God.
What was that like for your, I can cry right now. Just thinking about you constantly trying, or you thinking about it and just like, okay, it's getting too long.
Yes.
It's long suffering.
Because I have been cried out. I did everything that you could possibly do as far as stress about it. So, and even it was crazy because I had got a word from a prophet that was saying, I see a girl, but when I got that word, my sister was in the audience with me at the church, and she was the one that ended up getting pregnant with a girl.
But this was this was a couple years before.
Yes,
right.
So that's what the enemy would do too. He'll allow you to hear a word for yourself, and then if somebody is connected with you, sitting, with you in your family, then what your word is, you'll start changing your mindset to thinking, oh, that word was for her because we were together. And what the lady didn't know is that we were sisters. So I gave up because I was like, oh, that was for her because now she had a girl. And I'm waiting on this girl that was spoken over my life. And God knows that I always wanted a girl, and so I took that word and I applied it to her when God was saying, no, what I said is going to come to pass. So what God says to us, he'll bring it forth.
Absolutely.
But we got to trust him for our word and not get distracted for what he has done for somebody else.
Because why not you?
Exactly. So I was like, oh, it was just over. I was like, I was so happy for her though. I was happy for my sister, but at the same time, I was like, God, like, she younger than me, and now she having her baby. I'm so happy, and so that's why when she had her baby, we thought it was our baby. She had to tell me one day, like, girl, give me my baby. This is my baby. I'm like, oh, and I came to realization, like, oh, this is her baby.
This ain't mine. But so. Because what's the year difference between them two?
Yes, so
India and Aaliyah.
Aaliyah is 18 and India is 21 to be 22. So they're a little over 3. India's a little over 3 years.
So
apart.
So you thought that was your baby?
Yes,
yeah, you was waiting. That waiting. How was that waiting?
That waiting was. It was rough. It was like I was suffering. It didn't feel good. It was stressful, and it was like it felt like the end for me because it was. I was impatient. And still to this day, I have to deal with that patience piece, though.
I was just going to say, do you think that was a moment where, like, in that moment, it was like God teaching you, be patient with me, trust me. Absolutely. And what I said is what I said.
Yes.
What I said is what I said.
He said
but man, that waiting is hard. I'm not going to lie.
Yes. And then I had to apply that scripture that God's ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. I had to apply that because a lot of times our mindset, we want everything to happen quick and in a hurry. And God is saying, not this time, not yet. It's coming, but not yet. So that did teach me a lot with patience.
Yeah.
I didn't get 100% there yet, but it taught me to wait, because if he says something, then it's going to come. It's just not coming when Keisha wanted to come right now. But God, I know it's going to come. And I have many of those type of moments in my life, still to this day.
So fast forward to that day when you found out.
Yes.
What was that like?
That was one of the best days of my life. It was scary too, though, because we had all those false other tests, like plenty tests. It
was some positive ones.
Yes, this one, but well, one I thought was positive because it seemed like
that line was a little fake.
We got happy for nothing, and so it tricked me or whatever. But because I know they were saying, like, if you see a faint line, then that means that that you pregnant or whatever. And so, girl, that line was a little faint, and I was so disappointed. But this time when I took it, I was so scared. I was like, I know it felt like something was different. And so I remember my husband was at work and I took that test, girl, and it had 2 lines, but I had 2 tests. So I was like, let me take another one. I don't want to get too excited. I could not believe it. I was like so happy, but I was so scared at the same time because
Because you didn't know.
I didn't really know
sure.
if it was real, you know.
Yeah, you was in denial
Because
at that
I
point.
never had like a miscarriage or anything. I never been pregnant. So it was like, this can't be real.
And I know once you got to like month 3, you like, oh, it's
Right.
real. I'm
Yes.
really, I'm really up in this thing
Yes,
for real. I'm a
yes.
mama for real.
Yes, and then that piece too, scared to even speak about it
My
because of all
goodness.
of the odds that were already against me, you know. So that it was amazing and scary at the same time. Yeah.
So, how was your pregnancy experience?
Woo!
With the first one? With Aaliyah?
Girl, yes.
You was like,
So,
not an ex-woman.
I
What I
want to
asked
be
for.
honest. I want to tell the truth. So, you know, a lot of people be like, oh, it's just amazing. No, I did not enjoy being pregnant.
That all.
Now, I enjoyed the promise. I enjoyed the babies. But, ooh, it was rough getting to there. So, I enjoyed, I would say this. So, I never threw up in my pregnancies.
Okay, good.
Now, I felt like I have a really strong stomach. I felt like doing it, and I almost felt like I wish I would have been able to do that. So those first 2 trimesters, I was sick all the time, nauseous, and it was just like, it was crazy. And then at the end, now you at the point, you're like, come on, I'm just ready to have this baby. It's like, I'm holding this baby all this time. And then with my second one, oh my God, he was like almost 10 pounds. Dylan was literally almost 10 pounds. So it was like I couldn't walk. And then by the time the third one, the one that was, I knew God said that I was having another one, but I was like, I'm done. And I'm like,
God was like, yeah, okay.
I'm pregnant. So I cried. And then when I found out it was another boy, oh my God, I just lost it because I was like, this other boy, he just running, jumping, everything. And then where we're from, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Shout out. Oh.
Yes. Straight out of Milwaukee.
Yeah. Straight out of it.
So where we're from, you already know how it is raising your kids, and I didn't want to raise my kids there. I love my city and everything, but it was
crime was crazy.
It was terrible, and so I just felt like boys get into so much stuff. So
yeah,
but God knew what I needed though.
Absolutely,
He knew what I needed. So I thank God for my boys. But yeah, so it was just a lot.
Do you think you had boys to like soften you up?
Absolutely, those boys. It's a difference. You learn.
Yeah, I learned. We have the same dynamic, y'all. Like she has one girl, I have one girl,
and our girls are the oldest.
Our girls are the oldest, and we have 2 boys.
Yes.
Like that's so
Yes.
yeah. And I got pregnant at 22. I think
Okay.
we got married. No, I got married. No, hold on, wait a minute.
Right.
No, I got married at 22
You was
and got
22.
pregnant at 22.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So then it was around the same time frame. So
Yep.
I got married at 18, but I got pregnant at 22. And I had her, you asked me that question earlier. How old was I? I was 23 and a half. I always say the half.
So, why? Why the half?
I don't know.
Why?
I just got to put the half in there.
Okay, so I was 21 when I got pregnant, I think. But I turned 22 that year or one of them ones.
Right.
It was that same year because
Yes.
we got married a couple months before she was born.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
So I was 23, and then I was like, oh, after the labor and everything, I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
I ain't never doing
After
this again.
I prayed, cried, fasted, stressed, everything to have this baby. Finally had, and then I want to add that I was so scared through my first pregnancy too. It's like, Lord, please don't let me miscarry. Don't let nothing happen. All kind of stuff.
Oh,
was going
the
through my
thoughts
mind.
that you had.
I mean, those thoughts was just reckoning or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like I had to get focused, and I was watching that baby show back in the day too. Like when mothers, I forgot what it was called, but a lot of mothers was having their babies, so I would just sit there for hours watching that show. But God allowed me to carry all 3 of my babies full term. Them babies didn't want to come out. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, come on.
They went over their due date.
Did you have C-sections with them?
No, I had them all
natural?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and what is natural now?
Natural to me personally, I think everybody said different because they be like, oh, I wasn't natural. I had the stuff in the back or whatever. What is it?
I did epidural
but
3 times.
to me, that's natural. You still the baby's still coming out of you.
Yeah,
you know,
thank you.
naturally what the study
So
get
we
cut.
on the same page then. So,
Yeah, but I had 3 C-sections.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
all
I know
3
that.
C-sections.
Okay.
So I was even with the last one, I was just pressing to have him natural. I was like,
Right.
I don't care. I had 2 other C-sections. Y'all gonna let me try?
Because usually and I don't know why that is, but usually when you have a C-section, they
Try to
put
make
you in
you
a
do
boat of making you do that every time. But
And
yeah.
it's called a VBAC. So people have VBACs all the time. But because I had 2, they were like, you
Right.
can't do that again. That's dangerous. I'm like, well, let me risk it because I
Right.
trust
You
God.
yeah, exactly.
And so,
Well, that
yeah.
was good for you though.
I
Good
left
for
the
you.
hospital and it was a funny story. check. You can look it up on my YouTube as well. With the third child, I trusted God so much to have him natural that I was vlogging my everything, like vlogging everything.
I remember.
And I left the hospital when I was supposed to get a C-section. I was like, 39 weeks. I said, I'm not doing this C-section.
Right.
And it was like, you got to. Well, I left and went to a whole different hospital. Long story short, y'all, that hospital let me try what I wanted to do. And even though I had a C-section, they still let me do what I desired.
See, that's faith.
So it was the faith. And I was like, God, I cried when they told me I had to get a C-section because it was taking so long. But once I realized why, after some time, people were commenting on the videos like, you gave me the courage to talk to the doctors and do exactly what I want to do. It wasn't about me. It was God doing something through me for somebody else. And I don't know if I really could have handled doing it naturally. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like just going through actually contractions and stuff like that for that third time. I'm like, this ain't for me.
And you did. Look, isn't funny that we get amnesia? Like, cause I was like, after the first one, I'm like, that is it.
Yeah. And you get pregnant again. It's like you forget everything.
That was 5 years later, and then I'm like, I'm really done. The toll that it takes on our bodies, though. Like women, shout out to the women.
Shout out to
we
women.
We can go through so much stuff.
Shout out mommies. Oh,
God give us the grace to do it though, because it's like
we made for it.
It'd be a lot. That's right.
We made for
it. That's right.
Let me ask you something. So now that you have your daughter, do you have your two boys? Do you find yourself parenting them differently?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I love them all the same, but you have to parent them differently because girls are going to go through things that boys don't, vice versa.
What about your two boys though? Because boys is boys.
Yes, boys is boying.
Nobody told us. Well, maybe somebody did because they said them boys is wild, but you won't know until you actually have them.
They be all over. You already know. Yours are a little younger than mine.
Yeah, so, too young. They really little.
Yes, but they come and they check on their mommies. They like, I never knew what that saying was when they say, "Oh, mama's boy, daddy's girl." No, it's true.
That's
real.
A real thing.
It's a real thing.
And I still be trying to understand why it's like that because it'd be like the daughter's clean, even though my daughter's come around me more than she did when she was younger. Because it's like, okay, now I could actually talk with you, mama. I can click with you. We could talk about some things, but they click to their daddy. Yet. So do what you think. She gonna clean?
Teenagers, the girls.
They leave you and just be
Girl, they be on their own thing. They be like my daughter, she was in her room. She went from clicking to me to like, I'm like, do you even like me? And then, but it changes though. So she's 18 now. She graduated high school. It's like something shifted. And it definitely was through prayer too though, because you be wanna.
Yeah.
Not for real, y'all, but
for real.
Wring their neck. But now it's almost like, but I make it clear that I'm your mom though. And because I know some parents like want to be friends. It's okay to be friends. You could be friends with your kids, but you still have to draw that line.
Boundaries.
Like, the boundaries. And let them know what the limitations are because I'm still mama. You still have to respect me. But you could talk to me and everything. So I decided to create a space because with her about to go to college, when she turned 17, it's like I just lost it. I was crying, everything. And, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and this and that. And at that moment, at that time, she wasn't like being really close with me either.
Yeah, she was like communicating with you as much. I feel like the generations definitely are different.
Yeah. And so I was like trying to create space and room for her to know, like, you can talk to me about anything. Like, and I know your kids have to learn on their own. And I know that, they got to get there, but I just want you to know, like, you can tell me anything, and I'm here for you always. And then eventually it's like, once she graduated high school, something shifted. Now she don't stop talking to me and everything. And I'm
it's
like,
that prayer. It's just that
works.
Freedom or just that space you created.
Yes,
Y'all created that space where it's like, hey, talk to me.
And what I did too, I anointed her room.
Ooh.
Girl, I took that oil. I anointed those pillows. I knew what to do. And that's what I did, and it worked.
That's what you did. You set the tone for when she getting ready to go to college and move out. You already set the tone, and she felt that.
Yes.
That's inspiring for me because it's like now I have a 7-year-old, but she's just so all in my face, and it's just like, can I breathe sometime? You talk a lot. Y'all knew me. You knew me as a kid. Look. I was just gonna say, they know me. They be like, just like you.
Let me tell you about you. So I love this girl. So when she was younger, Jasmine was gonna make sure you knew who she was. Like Jasmine come in speaking, your sister was real quiet. Y'all were total opposite, and like me and my sister. And she would come in and shout out to moms because y'all was. She made sure y'all was dressed good and smelling good. I used to be like, what perfume you put on?
You 10 years old. What you got on?
I
you
did
9,
for real.
girl. What you got on?
I did for real. But Jasmine, like you were just the life of. You knew everybody, so I always knew that you would be someone. I promise you, I knew that about you at a young age. I knew that you would. I'm not surprised at how God has been blessing you and your family because I knew that everybody would like you. You're a magnet. So
I'm
been
not
so positive.
I'm not crying.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. So
okay,
what she's saying is, is it Korean or Korean? How
it's a Korean. I'm sorry if we
girl. If
name.
You're watching,
we love you though.
I don't know.
Won't he do
but,
it?
Shout out to you. But
yes.
my daughter is just like that. And it's like I look at her. It's like a mirror, but it's like she's like more. It's just more than what I was, and it's not a bad thing. I love it. I never want to suppress it.
It's in her.
But it's just like. It's so much. It's just like, but sometimes it can be too much being a mama knowing I got other stuff going on. But I'm like, now, like you just said, it's going to get to a point where she's going to be old enough and I can't like, she might just want to do her own thing. She want to be in her own room. She don't want to talk. And I'm going to be pressing her. So
and then you be very present still, even in those times that she's pushing you away. Still be present. Because she going to know like mama was there the whole time.
Yeah, because I probably cry a lot. Yeah. I'm like, girl, you don't want to talk to me no more. Like, what's tea?
Yes. When I pray, because I mean, every mom that I know that has teenagers, they all are going through it right now, or they have been through it, and they encourage me. They say, "Oh, it's gonna change." You like the older ones, like, "Oh, you'll be all right." And I'm like, "Oh, for real? Like
that's
sure?
Good."
Yeah, so it's happening. So I was like,
"Oh, I love that."
But I didn't let her know that I noticed that she's been turning or whatever.
Well, hopefully she'll watch it. She watch it.
So she gonna just have to know now.
Yeah. Yeah, mommy sees. Yeah.
But I'm glad I only had one girl too though now, because before I was praying like I only want all girls. But ooh,
them girls.
Shout out to the moms with all these girls. Like I don't know how y'all do it.
I have a friend that has 3 daughters.
Me too.
3.
I know someone. It's rough, and it's funny because I was talking to one last night, and we were talking about how she was telling me how rough it was, and all I could do was encourage her and be like, it'll get better. Because I don't know that because I only had one. So,
what would you say? Like, how would you say it's different between how you have obviously the age difference with your daughter and then your sons, but how would you say the parenting is with? Yeah. Do you think you're more clingier to your sons or to your daughter? Like, what would you? Good
question. So I would say,
like with raising them.
Right now, it's more clingier to the boys because my daughter is so independent. Yeah. She's a lot like me, and it's funny because like you were talking about your baby, and I'm like, she's just like you. Like you had yourself all over again.
That's
and
crazy.
And sometimes when we don't see it that way, and it's like we don't know how to deal with it, but then
it's like it's you.
Yeah, you know what your mama was dealing with. Now I know what my mom was dealing with because my mom used to say all the time I was so quiet, and she's not as quiet as I was though, but she is very reserved, more quiet.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like with my boys, from birth to now, they're still clingy. Like with her, it was like a separation. So it's different with the girls and the boys. And then my middle child, Lord have mercy, that boy compare everything. It's like, because he's trying to find his way. It's like, he's not the oldest, he's not the baby, but that's a real syndrome.
So that's a thing. And I wonder, now let me just say this. I wonder, are we giving this thing power? Because we all say, it's the middle child, something different, or that we giving that thing power, and we speaking that into existence over all these kids, and it's probably really not a thing, but we made it a thing. Yeah. And so these middle kids are possibly comparing themselves, or like you said, trying to find themselves, and they like, okay, I got something to compare to here, or they just act different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wonder, did we do that?
Like, we could have like egged it on and
spoke it out too much. Everybody as a whole in the world saying it's that middle child, or they be like, that terrible too. So when kids turn 2, they just seem like they the worst or something.
Right.
When
I don't know why that is, but they do be acting up a little more.
But I mean, yeah, our baby almost 2 in a couple months.
Trying 3s. They just never stop testing you. How about that?
Yeah, let's just say that, because you say your 17, 18-year-old, how old is she now?
She's 18. She'll be 19.
Okay, your 18-year-old tests you, but then you got your littlest one that gonna test you in a different way too.
But I think that second one, he tested me more than any of them ever.
That's what everybody say. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry to say, but it is true. And it's
they
like,
gangster.
He gangster. They ain't scared of nothing.
Nothing. I mean, it's like I don't want to speak of y'all, but
you know how you give your kid that look, and then I'm like, that look don't move nothing with him.
No.
I'm like, Lord have mercy. But with him, so what I do is like when you were asking me, is there a difference? So it's like I gotta give him a little more attention, I feel.
Yeah.
I love them all the same, but some of your children you do give a little more attention.
Yeah.
And then some of them, they're a little more independent.
Yeah.
And I definitely have to, it just depends on their personality.
Everyone
they have
is
different personalities.
Yeah.
I'm like the same mama, daddy, same kids,
but y'all different
personality. Like they are different.
That's deep.
They are different.
That's really deep.
Very different. I have to figure out how to accommodate each one. So what I have learned to do too is like if I'm going shopping for my daughter, that don't mean I got to take the boys shopping because how sometimes you feel bad.
You gotta buy all three.
Bad. Yeah. So we taught them that at a young age, so they don't say anything. Like if we take, and I've seen like plenty of my friends, like if they do that, the other kids like, oh, you ain't buy me nothing, or But no, with them, they know that if we're doing this day, then it don't mean that we're doing it with you on this day,
Okay. Yeah, I gotta make sure I do that. Well, we got little ones, 7, 5, and almost 2.
Yeah.
So they still in that stage where it's like, hey, y'all owe me too.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, hey, why she get to go? Why she got her? What you gonna do for me?
So we taught, we made sure we taught them that at a young age, like, because I remember we did have a little conversation like that. Well, you bought him this, and I'm like, no, he needed this at this time.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Okay, let me ask you something. Everybody get asked this question. When or have you ever found yourself being a mother before anything? Before Dennis, your husband? Dennis is her husband, y'all.
Yes. Shout out.
Shout out Dennis. He in the back. Before Dennis, your mama, before anything, your job, have you ever found yourself being in that place?
Oh, absolutely.
Like where it's like you're mothering before anything, even yourself. Like
yes, absolutely. I remember when we kind of first moved to Georgia. We've been here about 12 years now. 12? Yes. We came in 2012.
Okay, yeah. When we moved here, y'all said 7. Y'all saying 7. Dang.
How many years y'all been here, Ernie?
Almost it's 4, almost 5.
Yeah. So July will be 12 years for us because we came 2012 in July. So
yeah, shout out to the new home. This home now.
Yes. I know it's home for real.
This home for real.
Love it. We love it here. So when we first moved here, we had a little struggle. We came down here on the word. God said go. I was in nursing school. I was in clinicals. You hear me? And I heard God say it's time to go to start the ministry. And so we came on down here in faith. We lost everything. We lost so much.
Don't that be funny? Like, God, you just told me.
I'm like, you
just told me to get up and come here.
And then I lose everything. And I almost felt like I was going to lose my mind because it took a whole toll on me. Like, it was overwhelming. And I never really dealt with stress that good to begin with.
Yeah.
So to deal with so much at once, it was just a lot. So I had to put my stuff, my issues, my feelings, everything to the side. And I looked at my beautiful babies and I was like, I got to be here for them. I don't want them to see me
that's good.
in this space because all that'll do is, it'll just rub off onto them. And then you'll find them kids can get stressed too.
Yeah, I'm understanding that. Yeah. Even young, I'm like, let me massage their head or something.
Yeah.
So maybe they have headaches or they're stressing myself.
So I had to make a decision and these are decisions that we make. We can make, I mean, we're not perfect as mothers, you know. But we do the best that we can. And, but I had to make a decision like, I don't want them to see me like this in this place. So I'm going to, mother them, make sure that even if it's at the park, I may not have the money to take them to Disney World right now, but I'm going to make sure they have like a Disney World experience,
That's good. That's
and
good.
make them feel like they're doing something. So I can honestly say that if my kids did see me in a situation, that it really didn't affect them much because I made it my choice. I remember we were in extended stay down here on a word from God and down here on the word. And lost everything, lost the house, everything. The landlord decided to sell the house, so we had nowhere to go.
And y'all moved in a house first when y'all first came here.
Well, we moved it was like my mom, all of us came together.
Yeah.
Same situation.
Same thing with us, y'all.
We all came together and we made it work. And then we got our own place, and then the landlord decided to sell the property. So we had nowhere to go. And at that time, my mom, everybody had moved out or whatever. So we all, I to this day, I know why now, but we had to experience being pastors, preaching. At that time, I wasn't even trying to accept the call of being a pastor. I'm like, God,
all the
how
stuff
can you use me? Like, I didn't ask for this. And so my husband was a pastor, and I was just the first lady playing the background, but God was calling me. But I had never experienced or went through anything. And by not going through anything, that's what pushed me into the place that I am today.
Jesus.
Because of the things that we went through. And it's like, how can I help someone if I had never been through anything? So through all of that, I was a mother first. Through everything, praying for other folk, doing this, helping folk while we were stressing and struggling. I remember one time going into the bathroom in the extended stay that we were living in, and I was just done. I was done with God. I was done with everything. And I was like, I just don't know what else to do. And to see my family, sleeping in this extended stay, and then it's like, I just wanted to like crawl into a shell. And I was already an introvert. And so I went into the bathroom and went in the tub, and I closed the door. I made sure I didn't let my kids see me though. Went in that tub and I cried. And I was like in fetal position, and I just began to cry. And after that, I said, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up, because the thing to do in front of your children is to get up out of that situation so that they can know that there's hope, that they can know that God can make a way, that He can do it for you. But you can't just sit there. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. So I had to decide to put on faith, the garment of faith, because I was wearing depression. I was wearing stress. I was wearing hardship. I was wearing everything on my shoulder. But when I would go to church, my face wasn't looking like what I was going through. Nobody ever knew.
Man.
But God,
Did that ever affect your marriage?
Oh, absolutely. So
like during that time when you was being a mom, making sure they were good through all the mess.
Yes.
Did that affect your marriage?
Yes, it affected our marriage. And I wouldn't say greatly, because we had lost so much before coming. So that really affected it, where it was like, it was bad. Like where it was to the point of like, we don't know what we're going to do. And then I was putting the blame, everything on my husband, because I felt like, and so, and it was things that I was out of his control. What it was is God was really kicking us out of the city that we were in. And telling us to go, but we took too long to go. And so that's what He would do.
Oh, y'all didn't leave when y'all was...
No, we didn't.
Oh, y'all took a little...
We was trying to do our own thing.
Oh, man.
But talking about, Lord, we trust you. Lord, we going to go.
But we're going to give me a couple more months.
It was scary. You know how it is to move.
Absolutely.
It was very scary.
Moving from the unknown. Moving to the unknown from what you already know.
Yes, and we didn't know anyone. And it was like, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, when we come down for ministry, it's going to just be like this, take off. Like, I didn't see suffering in it, because I felt like when God gave me that word, there was no suffering, but there was much suffering, greater suffering, and so the Bible also says, I'm a pastor, so sorry.
Do your thing. No, do your thing. That's what we want.
The word says that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord will deliver them from them all. So God delivered us from a lot of the things that we were going through. Not that we don't go through now, because we go through things, but I know how to.
You know how to navigate through it now.
Navigate it better.
You know how to fight with the word. You're going to give it back.
To fight. Yes. So that mothering, yes, but I have to be a mother before anything. Even I want to talk about my braces.
Okay,
I'm not scared to tell my age. I just turned 42.
Hey, she told us the age, y'all. She told us the age. She don't look like it, though.
They're going to try to do the math anyway. I said I was 18 when I got married. And then
they're going to be like,
that's what people be doing. Put your fingers away. I told you.
She don't look like it, though.
Thank you.
Our people.
Yes.
Shout out to the people.
Yes, shout out to the people for real.
So well.
It's such a blessing. So, and then learning how not to wear that stress forever, and then going to other things to try to cope with your stress. And that's what makes us look older, and things like that. So.
I just watched this thing on Instagram where it's this older woman. I think she was in her 70s or 80s, and she mentioned that there's no such thing as being sick. We're not supposed to be
That's
sick.
right. That's
And
right.
the reason that we're sick or people get sick or there's long-term illnesses and diseases that people deal with is because they're harboring something within.
Yes.
And so it's deeper than, oh, I'm just sick from,
Yeah.
because she said, I don't never get sick.
Yeah.
And he was like, how is that possible? He was interviewing her. He was like, how is that possible? She was like,
have kids?
I don't even, she didn't talk about that part, but she was saying that within, like, people hold stuff within and never talk about it.
Yeah.
And it causes stress. It causes you to show on the outside. Like, what's within shows on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physically and spiritually.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I'm
true.
saying?
That's
And
true.
so
And they always say stress can kill you.
Absolutely.
And it's true.
It's like a
facts.
silent killer.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I remember going through headaches back in 2016. Shout out to the people. Oh, my hat go off to the people who go through migraines. I had never experienced that. I thought the little headaches that I would have was just okay, but migraines is something different. So stressing caused me to have migraine headaches. I had them every day for like 30 days. I went to every specialist and they said nothing was wrong. So of course they're going to diagnose you with anxiety.
And give you anxiety pills.
Gave me some anxiety pills. I said, I don't have anxiety or whatever, you know. And so then I started going crazy. Like, what do I? You know.
Did you start taking the pills?
I took one. And then I was like, I'm not doing this.
You probably felt like a zombie, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I was like, I said, anxiety don't have me. I have control of anxiety. And so that's what I did. That's a word.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a word. So I said, I have control of it. So I never took any of those. And I just learned how to just get into the word, pray, and the help with, I thank God for my husband. Shout out to my husband, Apostle Dennis, because he helped me get through the things that I was going through at that time, because it was making me feel like I had all type of things that wasn't really happening. But it was happening. So stress, dude, it can kill you. Man. And I was having heart palpitations, all kind of, like, that's a whole nother story.
And it's really what's going on within you.
It was on the
your
inside.
Mind.
What you let on the inside will try to control you. And I decided that, devil, you ain't going to control my mind. You know, they say the mind is the battlefield. But I was like, get off of my mind, because I got to be here. I got to be present for my kids. First for myself.
Absolutely.
I got to be present for myself as a mother, because we do a lot, you know, as moms. So I need to be present for me and my family.
Yeah. That's good. Man, our stories are so much alike.
Oh, what I was about to say about the braces really quick.
Say it.
So I'm a mother first, because I knew my teeth need to get fixed. And so many people look at me like, ooh, you old with braces. I'm like, leave me alone.
No.
I waited for a long time to get.
I wanted these so long.
Right. I tried to get them a year ago. My insurance was like, you got to wait a year or so. But I'm like, okay, I'll wait. First and everything, so I had to make sure their teeth were straight, and then I'm like, it's my turn now. So
I know that's right, and she pretty with them too. Yes, I love braces. I'll go back and get them.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're gonna take a break, y'all. We're gonna do a quick commercial break. We're gonna be right back.
Sky is blue, clouds come through, rain down on me, rain down. Spell feeling like I'm in a cell. The sky is blue, clouds come through, rain down on me, rain down on me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to A Mother Before Anything. I'm here with Pastor Lakesha Spears. And yeah, y'all, okay, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit, because you always mention that you're an introvert, right? Yes. But you don't do that. For me, you know, I guess I would be considered like an outtrovert, whatever, extrovert, whatever. You are very, she talk a lot. Now, it's not a bad thing. If she really, when she know you, she talk, you know what I mean? So to me, it's like, why do you consider yourself an introvert? But, you know, like let's backtrack, because you said it was like horrible when you were younger. Can you kind of like elaborate on that or talk about that?
Yes. So I've been an introvert all of my life. God helped me to come out. So once I became a pastor, that's what brought me out of the box, out of my shell. Yeah. So like even doing this today, I could have never done this before because I couldn't really give people eye contact. And I would be so, either? Oh no.
And you so locked in, that's what I'm saying. No. Like,
so I got delivered. Like I got delivered from, and I think with my situation, a lot of the times it was like I wasn't confident in me. So when I became confident in myself, it helped me to be more confident with others. So that's what happened with me. So, but yeah, so even when I met my husband, I couldn't look him in his eyes. He would always lift my chin up. So I thank God for him because my king always made me know that I was a queen. And so he would do that. And I remember a story from my mom saying that even a lot of our family members when I was younger, because I wouldn't talk, they thought something was wrong with me. And it was nothing wrong with me. I was just super shy, super quiet, and it was just my norm. Coming up, I didn't have many friends because I didn't know how to communicate with people. Man. I had an issue with communication, not drama or anything like that, but it was the fact that I didn't know how to be present in front of people.
I have this question, like, what is the root of that thing? There's a lot of people that, scream that they're introverts, they're to themselves, and everybody has many different reasons, but for you specifically, do you think it was something rooted for something from your past, or do you just think it's the enemy trying to shut your mouth? Because once you opened your mouth, it was on. You know what I'm saying?
Something to say.
Right. Like, what do you think the root of that is? Because there's a lot of people that experience that.
Yes. So I would say for the root to me is if it's a person that's always been that way from a child on up, it's just that's who they are.
And that's just what it is. Huh?
A lot of people want to take or make introverts to be like not normal or weird.
Yeah.
And I started to believe that about myself because I didn't know how to interact with the crowd. Crowds made me feel not worthy of myself a little bit. They made me feel less a little bit. And you know what's crazy? Because in my mind, I wanted to do that and be like that because my mom and sister are extroverts. Right. So it was like, how can they just come in the room and just demand the room and just like everybody just draw to them and everything. And with me, I would always get like in high school, some people would tell like my family like, oh, she must think she all that because I didn't talk. It wasn't that I thought that way about myself. I just didn't know how to be present in front of somebody because I wasn't really all the way confident in myself. Now, you have different introverts where they're a little more outspoken, but that's why it was hard for me to come into ministry because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say to these people. Like, I don't even know how to get myself out of this. But when I let go and I let God, then he took over. Now, I'm very much so a homebody. I don't like a lot of people in my circle, in my business of what I'm doing. So I've always at a young age knew how to manage and balance that. So I didn't really have that story like a lot of women have. Now I had drama, here and there, but I didn't have that story like a lot of women where they like, oh, I done went through so many friends. Most of my friends that I had, I've been friends with them for years because I knew how to like
move yourself out the way.
Yes, I knew how to move myself out of the way, but I wouldn't say that it's something rooted. But what I would say is that the enemy will take what or who you are and turn that thing against you to then make you think something is wrong with you.
That's good.
And I went to God and he said, I made you that way because I began to have a problem with who I was as an introvert. Yeah. Because I didn't know how to like be like even when I had my 40th birthday party, all my family was in town. My house was packed, but I felt like I was being pulled in so many directions where it became overwhelming. And I went in my room and cried. I went in that room, I locked the door, shut the door. I didn't tell nobody.
Day, y'all,
and I cried because I am an introvert. So it's like I didn't know how to,
You teaching me something because I'm not gonna say I'm one of those people that I ain't gonna say I've called it weird because I will be considered an extrovert. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's weird, but I definitely get frustrated with people who are introverted. I'm like, come on, you're like, if you're around me, you're gonna come out that shell. Yes. I'm not finna let you stay in that place.
Today.
If you're around me, we're not finna do that.
Yes.
So I'll be trying to bring you out of it, but it's just like, I don't want to also, because there's some people who really get uncomfortable. Yeah. And I don't want to change who you are.
And that's the misconception and that needs to be talked about more.
That's
about
what I'm
introverts
saying.
and extroverts.
It's helpful for me.
It was until I got comfortable with me being that, is when I was comfortable to talk with someone, and I'm way more comfortable with family than anybody because my family knows me. You know, like I know you. Right. So I'm more comfortable to speak about things than I would be with someone else because I guess as introverts too, we watch a lot.
We observe.
We're very observant. And so if it feels like I get a little inkling of like it's not going to be comfortable, I shut down. But it's just who I am. Not shutting down saying that I'm weak, but shutting down because I understand that this can go somewhere that I don't desire to go. Yeah. You know, and so that misconception with introverts and extroverts is that we both think that each other, I might feel like you just doing too much or just being extra. No, it ain't. That's just who you are. That's your makeup. Yeah. That's who I am. I'm more quiet. That's my makeup.
I had to learn that.
And we have to learn that about each other. Yeah. And that need to be talked about more because I'd be like, oh, I don't know how. And in my mind, I'd be like, I want to do like what she's doing. Like she just can be so present and be there. And then when my introverted self would be like, oh, it's just exhausting. I
ain't doing that.
I got to stay in my own lane. And then that's why they say like opposites attract. Yeah. Because when you in your lane, I'm working my lane, then we
come together. Mm-hmm. Nah, that was very educational for me because I really want to give those type of like more introverted people grace because I definitely I'd be like, girl, come on, like
you're never going to get it.
I'm probably not going to understand it.
I'm never going to understand you now by me having an extra husband. So I get it, and he gets me, and so and it's all about compromising. Yeah, too. In relationships, any type of relationship, you got to compromise with who people are and be okay with people being who they are. Yeah. Like I be seeing so many comments on social media about people.
Well, why she doing this or why you doing that?
That's because that's who they are.
Yeah, we got to give people more grace, y'all. We got to give each other more grace.
You do have people that are operating in something different because they feel like that's who they're supposed to be or they have to be that. Yeah. Because society is that. No, I can't do that. I got to be who I am.
And I made
it won't work.
I made a video about it on Instagram or something, and I was talking about. I said I think we're giving. I did mention that I feel like we're giving power to the word introvert, extrovert. Yeah. I said because I think people are taking it and like forcing it, like they're like trying to use it as an excuse to never deal with people, to never. You can't just live your life not communicating with people. You can't just live your life not. How are you supposed to minister to people? How is people supposed to help you? How are you supposed to get helped if you do not want to interact with people, period?
And see, that's the thing, too, with people who are more quiet like me, like for ministry, for example, I knew it was going to be hard for me coming into it because I didn't want to deal with folks. I'm going to be honest. I didn't want to deal with their issues. I didn't care about their business because I never been one to, like, be in somebody's business. You know how some people be like, oh, she doing this or that. I didn't want that.
Well, God kind of puts you in their business too.
Exactly.
But
right now, as being a prophet. But I wanted to, my business was too much to handle on my own for me to be picking up somebody else's business. So God really had to deal with me. So it took me a long time to really accept being a pastor because I was like, what I was seeing my husband do, I was like, I don't know how you do it. My hat went off to him because I'm like, that is a lot. All those phone calls and just, you know, helping people navigate life. But God set me down and he said, are you ready to do this? And he like, I gave you the tools. I gave you everything that you need, but you just got to be willing to, you know, to go ahead and step out. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give you a try, God. I stepped out and I found out and I was like, oh, I do got something to say.
I got a lot to say.
A lot to say. I have a lot to say. And it's just knowing when to say what I have to say and, you know, when to use it, you know, and things like that. But yeah, with ministry, that helped me a whole lot. But I had to release and put Keisha to the side and really let God fully do it. Like I was telling you before, I don't even watch myself I do now because my husband was like, you got to know, like, you know, where things you can, you know, work on in areas and things like that. So he helped me so much in that area.
So you can listen to yourself preach.
Oh, I hate it. I'd be cringing. I'd be like, oh.
But I think you're not the only person.
Even with God, though.
Yeah, even with like preaching or just talking, period. A lot of people just are hard. We're hard on ourselves, period. We really have to stop, even though we're going to keep doing it.
I agree.
But we're very, Hakeem say this to me all the time. He was like, you're going to be your worst critic. Yeah. Like you're always going to look at the worst part of yourself instead of the best part. Right. That's crazy. Yeah. But we just do. So it ain't even that you sound super loud, you over the top, whatever. Oh. You don't know what you may be doing for somebody else. Me personally, when I hear you holler, I get up. My spirit, even if I'm sitting down in the church or something, my spirit stands up. I got to hear what she's talking about. She mean what she say. I know that it's like power in it for me listening to it.
Because you know me to be quiet. So it's like, for me, everybody that knows me, like, what did God do with Keisha? Because, and then Keisha, after God do what he doing, I go right on back to being Keisha.
As long as you did what he needed you to do.
I just want to please God. That's
That's what's up. And that kind of go, what we're talking about kind of go into the next question I was going to ask you is, how has like being a mother and a wife and being in the ministry, how does that like having to cater to so many different people and be so much for so many different people? Is that heavy for you? Like, how is that? Like, you know, especially people in the ministry, when they find a pastor or somebody and they cling to you, you know what I'm saying? Even there's times I experience things and I'll be like, well, Keisha, can you pray for me? And I don't like doing that, but we're not gonna talk about that. But I don't like doing that to people. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm really like, you know what I mean? Or I'm really like a, God, you can deal with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go trying to.
You get it. So it's okay to ask people in ministry to do those certain things, but you got to realize that they're not God. Like, I'm not God.
Absolutely.
All I can do is aid and help.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But the key is you having that relationship with God yourself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, God will really begin to move like he's doing for you now, you know.
Right.
But you were saying like how.
Because they'll be pulling you. Pastor K, I need you. And you know, you got a war for them sometimes, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, you got Lil Carter that needs you, right? You know what I mean? You got Dennis needs you to do this or do that. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? You got your oldest, she been out for a long time and it's late at night. You know, you got to manage all that. How is that for you? Like,
so at first it still get hard, but at first it was really hard for me to balance that. And I didn't know how to do it because I feel like when we came into ministry, we were like, with our children, we're going to make sure they're not neglected. I'm a preacher's kid. So my husband is a preacher's kid. So we know firsthand of how it is that you can be kind of almost dismissed in a sense.
Wow.
Because your parents are helping everyone else. But I wanted it to be my main focus to make sure that my kids knew the Lord, not just teaching everyone else, but to make sure my household knew the Lord. But in ministry, because you are being pulled so many directions, like trying to be a wife, trying to be mom, business owner, a first lady, a pastor, all of that was a lot because it's like I had to be so much to so many people where I was almost like losing myself.
Yeah, even me, like you said, being introverted.
Yes, and then introverted, and then at times, real talk, not wanting to do is like they don't know how to pray, they don't know how to like you don't know how to talk to the Lord. I thought like how many times I'm gonna have to keep doing that, and then having to be back focused and like, okay, what would Jesus do? Because God, you called me to do this.
Right.
I said yes to the call. And when I said yes, I tried to throw in the towel 1,000 times,
Absolutely.
probably 100,000 times. But God was like, no, I need you to get back on in this and you can do it. So God began to give me the grace to deal with people.
Okay, that's good.
Because I didn't like to really deal with people like that. And so that's why it was hard for me to come into it. But I was able to balance that with prayer, much prayer, with fasting, much fasting, with seeking, much seeking, with help. I couldn't do it by myself. Like with counseling, you know, a lot of our people don't really believe in counseling, but it does really help. God put these people on this earth to be in that lane to help us, you know. So I had started talking to people, talking to someone that was, you know, confidential, where it helped me to be able to wind down, calm down. Now you need to get a schedule. Like you got family time, because it was like all out of whack. Like, you know, so I had to make sure that when it was my family time, that's what it is. Like I can't give you all of 100% of me and then I'm sitting there on empty. You know?
God gave it to you so that you can just keep pouring out all day. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of you out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I watch you sometimes. She'll be prophesying over some folks in the church. She got to take a moment and go back. God got to refuel you. You know what I'm saying? That's tiring. You know what I'm saying?
And then when you get home, then it's like the calls and things like that. So before I wanted to ignore someone.
Nah, that's honest. I love the honesty.
Be a lot. Like, come on. So I'd be like, geez. I would tell God all the time, I ain't asked for this. He said, but you say yes.
Ooh, that's
I'm like,
good.
God, well, this hard, but he said, you say yes. Trust me. And I'll make it easier. With that, with the flow of that, and with balancing work life, balancing mommy life, making sure that me and my husband, we make it our business to go on a date every Friday. We missed a couple recently because we've been out of town, like for weddings and things like that. But we make it our business because before we weren't doing that.
Yeah.
Everything else and everybody else was coming before what we were doing. And God was like, no, it starts at home.
I want to do it.
It starts at home.
I look forward to that.
Yes.
How would you say, like, raising your children, like, with spiritually, you know, with the morals and values spiritually, how has that been? Because, you know, kids are born, you pray over your kids, but kids are born and they are, and especially when they get a hold, and the world get a hold to them.
Yes.
How is that, raising them, knowing that y'all are spiritually inclined and God is telling you to do a certain thing or raise your kids a certain way?
Yes.
Wait, or what? Train them up in the way they should go.
Right.
How is that for you?
So,
for y'all, like,
shout out to those 3 kiddos of mine. So it's been a little rough.
Yeah.
Because my daughter
they don't
told
see
me,
it the way you do.
No. And I understand it only because I was a preacher's kid. So I understand it's like, why we got to be in church 24/7, you know, this, because I said when I got older, I was like, I ain't going to church. And look at me now. Like you said, when you raise them up the right way, they should go. They won't depart, right?
Yeah.
So my kids be like, oh, we done been to church this, and we done did this.
And they say that to y'all.
Yes, absolutely. And these kids are different than we was, because what they say to us, I could have never.
No,
would have
slept you across the floor.
On the floor. So, oh my God. So it be rough when we be doing our home Bible studies. I don't know how it be for y'all, because y'all are smaller, but it be rough because you trying to get Carter to sit still, then Dylan trying to listen, or Dylan acting up, and then Leah looking like, oh, is it over yet? I'm ready to go with my friends. So what we do is we make sure, I don't care how irritating they get, because they feel like we already been to church. We already had Bible study. You know, with the whole, but we're making sure that our household got it. Because, y'all been with the church. Y'all been everywhere. But y'all ain't listening.
Y'all ain't listening to y'all be there.
I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening. I remember, so I knew how to quote a couple scriptures because I heard the preacher say it. But I wasn't in my word myself as a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, I only knew what my mom and them did. I didn't know it for myself. So we're trying to make it our business to like, hey, we bought them. Shout out to TikTok. I bought Leah that Bible off that.
Yeah, that white
that
one.
Pink one. She got that pink one.
Okay,
I'm going to have to send it to you. It's real cute, real cute.
It's like a storytelling book, right?
Yes.
Or it's like got
hers
pictures?
is the Jesus Bible, but it's
Okay,
like
I don't know
the
what that one
NIV
is.
version.
Okay.
So it's a regular Bible, but it's real appealing. It's real pretty.
Yeah.
So now we got to do things like, because this generation, they want to see everything.
Absolutely.
And if it don't look like nothing, they don't want it. So this Bible, they got a whole little video, and they got the little tabs like back in the day.
Ooh.
Where I don't know if you know about that, because you.
Yeah, I got like it's like a highlight. It's like tabs in the Bible.
So you
we
can
got
find
one at home.
the chapters or whatever. So that got her engaged to wanting to read. So you got to do things like that too to make it be creative, like
kind of get to their level, get relatable, kind of.
So my husband, he got this fake little money, and if Dylan and Carter learn some scriptures while we're studying, we bought them the kid Bibles. Then when they get so much money, then it turns into real money. Oh, baby, it works.
Oh, that's good.
It works.
That is dope,
works.
y'all. We gotta
So
take.
they ask Carter about Jonah. I bet you he gonna tell you all about it.
That's good. Okay, that's good to know. Did y'all start like praying with them early, like?
Yes.
Like really early?
Yes. So all of our children know that the Lord's Prayer. Because if you don't know what to pray, I always bring it back to the Lord's Prayer. So they know that. So we pray with them early.
Yeah, and we do the same. We like pray with them. I think since summer started, we kind of ain't been doing a good job of that. But
it's about like learning that, getting that balance and consistency is key. Because we were off too. Because it was like, we so tired.
Every night during school year, we did it every single night. And what we do is we kind of go in a circle. If it's Hakeem night praying with them, or me, or sometimes we'll do it all together.
That's good.
But we let them, even if it sounds gibbery, jab, they
let them do it. Yes.
We just let them say it.
Yes.
But now we've heard some of the craziest stuff come out of their mouth when they pray.
Really?
And it's like, just letting them do it all this time. Now they formulating their own prayers.
See, you teaching them.
And so like, this is nice.
That's good, because all it can do is edify them, and they're going to just keep growing from there.
And know for themselves. Yes. That's what I want. I don't want to force it on them. I want them. That's what I was going to ask. Like, how does that? Do you feel like you have to? Like, are you forcing them? You are forcing them, or are you giving them a choice?
So I guess it kind of was like both at first, because it was like because when I grew up.
Yeah, because it was when you grew up, you going to church.
I'm gonna be real.
Please
so
do.
When we were growing up, I would get pinched. You acted up at church. I didn't really act up. My sister did though. She'll give me. But it was like we were sport. I had to be in the choir. I had to be, and I'm not even a singer. I'm a whole note. Like why
I'm in here
operating in something that that ain't even my gift or whatever. So. But it did teach us, you know, church etiquette and all of that or whatever. But
she's
girl,
like, I
we
ain't
was
singing.
made to do stuff or whatever. And so with our children, so it's so funny because my mom, see, like Aaliyah is a singer though, but she's shy. And so we're trying to, you know,
get her to come out and do
we're
it.
trying to get her to come out and go ahead and just do it. But I understand the shyness because I was shy.
Right.
My mama didn't understand that because she wasn't shy. So with our children now, so like if Aaliyah say, I don't want to sing today, I might let her sit out now, but you gonna stand up. Now I do still be like, for some stuff, I'm like, stand up in church. You gonna worship God or whatever.
Yeah.
You gonna praise the Lord. But I might let her sit out, and that was the hardest thing for us. And I remember my mom saying like, no, you gotta make them do. And I was like, no, I want her to. She's old enough to know that this is what I want to do, and I don't want it to be like a force on her because. Then it's like that pushes them away to me. For me, that pushes them more away. And so now it's like I want it to come natural. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but we trying it and it seemed to be working, you know. So and for the Bible studies, it was almost like we were like, hey, it's gonna be this time. But now when we put those little measures, we knew what we was doing. Put those little measures in place. They happy to come. If
Absolutely.
you gotta use something, the foolish things will confound the wise.
Okay.
So we used something that would seem so foolish because we know with wisdom at the end they're getting the word on the inside.
That's good. That's good. That's really good. Yeah. I know like because God gave us free will. Yeah. I'm really trying to see because like there's no handbook for parenting. Mm-hmm. So
oh my God, no.
There's no handbook. So it's just like okay, but when it comes to giving Christ to my children, I'm like I don't want to force it. Yeah. But I want them. But while they're a child. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong for that.
That's the best. No, I don't think so. It's the best time too because they'll start learning that consistency and it'll be in them. Yeah. Where and if you stop it, then they'll be like, well, it don't feel normal. Like what's going on? You know, instead of versus waiting till they're teenagers when they're already kind of getting set in their ways to do it. So yeah, I think that's good.
Once you raise them up in it and you kind of just had this thing that you did with them. Then once they get old enough or of age, they can make the choice of whatever they decide. You know what I mean? But you would pray that they choose Christ.
And it's better to come from you first anyway versus them learning from somebody else. Mm-hmm. So that's good that y'all making it intentional to do that.
Absolutely.
So
but I would say, was it harder now or is it harder? Was it harder when they first was born or was it like harder now? I think
it gets harder later. It gets harder later if they. Because we wasn't consistent with it at first. We weren't consistent. So when we decided to really, we took a sabbatical for our family. Mm-hmm. And when we became really consistent, it was kind of harder because they I want to just go watch TV. I want to go get on the game. I want to be on the phone. I want to go with my friends, whatever they wanted to do. Yeah. And so it was almost like we were forcing it. And then we would get angry and upset because it was like, we not understanding, y'all got parents that's whole pastors and stuff. And I see other kids getting it and breaking out into a praise. It's like, why are you sitting there and not doing it or whatever? Yeah. So and that's the thing too, you know, with preachers' kids or whatever, because they feel like their parents, so much time is used on everybody else. Whereas if they have something going on, it's like you missing. So we make it our business not to miss anything.
I know that's right.
That they do. I don't play that.
I know that's right.
I don't care what. I just would be missing church because I have to go and tend to my kids.
I know. And what keep coming?
I'm a mother before anything.
Okay. Oh, what she say? And what keep coming to me is, especially with Aaliyah, is she gonna come back to it?
Yeah, has to come.
I'm not even worried about it.
Yes.
I wouldn't even be worried about it. Y'all did exactly what y'all was supposed to do.
I received that.
And as she go on about her merry way as an adult, she know what's rooted in there.
They find their way back.
That's
because we did. We did.
Everybody,
yes, we all do.
You at your own timing. Yes. You're gonna have your own relationship with God, and that's exactly what we want. Yeah. I want to I should have asked this a little earlier, but did you experience postpartum?
I did. I didn't experience it with all of my children.
I was just gonna say, which
feel
kids?
like Carter was the most, and I was older, so I got pregnant with him at 34, and I had him at 35. It was so funny because the doctor was like, Oh, so you just made what is it that they call it?
What?
When you're older and have babies, they call you. It's a certain term that they use. It just slipped my mind.
I don't know the name of it.
High
risk?
Yeah, I was high risk. I was like, don't you come up in here calling me high risk.
We're going to pick that right now, ma'am.
In the name of Jesus.
We don't talk. We even say that.
So with him, I was in denial that whole pregnancy. And it was funny because a prophet had told me that I was going to have a baby and he's going to be a prophet and it's a boy. And I looked at her like she was prophet lying. Like, you got me messed up.
That's a thing?
Oh,
prophet lying.
It's people that's claiming to be prophets.
We know. And then they talking about a whole different God. But
that's a whole other story. So
she said that to you.
Girl, she
how,
said,
how early was it?
I had to be like 2 or 3 weeks and I did not know that I was pregnant. I was like, so at the time, I'm looking like, she got me messed up. Like, I ain't have no more kids. My baby is 5, about to be 6. Like, and I'm 34, like 33, 34. Like, no, I'm not having no more kids.
And she said, you're going to have a,
she said, and it's going to be a boy. And he's a prophet. And God had to send him because he's going to help carry on the ministry. And this and that. I'm looking at her like, God ain't tell me that yet.
Because I'm a prophet too, lady.
So you know what's up? And this is what I'm saying in my head. But God did really tell me. He had been giving me signs. And I just was in denial. Sometimes you can be in denial of what. Because some things you be like, I don't want that. I ain't asked for that. And I was in denial. Sorry, baby, but you know I love him. That's my baby. And so
I ain't want that.
I was done. We were done. So I'm sitting here pregnant. 2 weeks later, I'm feeling sick. Like, what's going on? I didn't think about what she had just said. Sure enough, I'm pregnant. I was crying. I was angry. I was everything.
Because you're like, I don't want to do this over.
I was in denial the whole pregnancy. And even after the baby, I was like, I had a whole nother baby. And I know some people would think like, oh, but once you had your baby, no, I was happy it was my baby. Of course, I love my baby, but it was like I was in denial. Like, I can't believe I had another man child too at that, because I wanted a girl.
Child. A man child,
another man child, a whole another boy. And so I was like, oh my God. And I remember when I was like nursing him, and he was my baby that had the most issues too. So he couldn't drink regular milk, so I had to stop nursing him. I finally was able to nurse a baby because I was so young with the other ones. I wasn't thinking about nursing no baby. You know, I'm working, all that. They was on Similac, whatever they had out.
Yeah.
The other milk, whatever. But so, you know.
Infamil, I think. Or
Infamil, one of them. No, I wasn't Infamil. What's the other
Good
one?
Start.
Good Start. Good Start. So they were on Good Start or whatever. So with him, we had so many. So I knew he was special. All my kids are special, but it was something different about him.
It's each one different.
Something different about him. And I would hold him so close to me to this day. If he could be here right now, he would be all over me.
We know.
Carter, give me a break or whatever. So it was just different with Carter. And so
like when you was like was it the breastfeeding? Let you breastfeed all 3 of them?
So I tried with Aaliyah and I said, oh, I'm giving that up. That hurts. I ain't even tried no more. And then with Dylan, I didn't. I was just too busy. And that's sad because it's like just too big. And that's when that moment of being a mother first should come in. Not nothing against people who do, because it's like it depends on what you willing to do in your life.
What you willing to do as well.
I was too busy. I didn't have time to pump milk and do all of that or whatever. And so with Carter, I felt like, oh, I'm older now.
Like I said,
so let me try and all of that. And so we was just getting in the groove of it. And the doctor was like, stop immediately. Because he was having projectile vomiting.
So you couldn't breastfeed him either because of that?
He couldn't do milk. He couldn't do like the cow's milk or whatever. And so whatever I was eating dairy, he couldn't do dairy. So whatever I was eating, it was affecting his system. We went through a lot with him, with his health, and just different things, you know. So
do you think the postpartum that you experienced, or do you think it came from like that, or like all the different stuff he had going on, or just
with that postpartum? So when I was going through that after I had him, it was this feeling. I was having feelings of. Now, I never had feelings of like hurting myself or hurting my child, because I know some women that, you know, we've seen it, they on TV and all of that they've gone through that.
Myself, I have thoughts, and I think it didn't really come until I had children, and I didn't know why. Yeah. Even to this, I would not harm myself, y'all. I'm not going to harm myself, but the thoughts come up.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's like everything gets so overwhelmed, or you feel like you're closing in, or it's like a shell. And you just and if nobody's understanding you either.
Yeah. It's a mental thing though.
And where your mind can take you.
And that's why I be feeling so bad for women that do actually go to jail for doing that stuff or whatever. Like if they do harm their child.
I was saying myself.
Yeah.
But people have thoughts like that too.
Oh yeah, they harm their children. The ones that post-harm, postpartum. But I be feeling bad for them, not for the fact that it's bad. It's all bad.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's like,
you know where your mind can go.
Because we know where the mind could go with our chemistry, our makeup, and then when you have a baby, it's like your body is going through trauma. You're going through so much. So really, your mind is not normal. It's not like what it would have been if you were not going through it. And so that's the part I be feeling bad, because mentally they are going through something, but they didn't know how to help themselves or get the right help,
Yeah.
So it's always like you need to speak up when, you're going through something. So I knew that I was going through because I was real stressed and depressed. And I didn't know like why I was having these feelings and like why I'm like, I wasn't able to really bond with my baby like I wanted to, because I was so stressed, and not even so much about my appearance, because your body go through so much or whatever, but it was like, here I am, 35, had a whole nother baby, and it's all kind of thoughts going through your head.
What is that?
It's mentally. It's like the chemical breakdown or something. Like I'm not.
We
a doctor,
really need
but
to get to the bottom of what that is.
It really
because
is, and it needs to be looked upon more, because they know that women go through it, but it's like, why is it not? Why are we not looking into this more to like say, hey, we gonna sit somebody with you, or we're going to make it mandatory for you to have somebody with you when you're having your baby, because a lot of women go through it. I went through it.
Well, I think even when I was after chosen the third baby, I'm like, okay, well, they ask you this question. I don't even remember this with the other two kids, but they give you a slip and they'll ask you certain questions. And if it's triggering to them, then they'll say, okay, well, you probably need to come to the hospital more often, or they may recommend a therapist or something.
Right.
And at that time, I will be like, no, I'm not feeling this. I'm good. Because at the beginning, I'm like, I'm good. I'm breastfeeding. I got a lot of milk. I'm good.
Right.
But then you slip into this place where your mind just like thought you never experienced before. And then when it's time to talk to someone, they don't get it, but they gonna listen. But it's like, me personally, if I know that you don't get me, I will shut down, because I'm just not going to talk to you then if you just don't understand me. You know what I'm saying? And so, I ain't never had the thought of harming my children, but myself, yes, because I feel like stuff would get overwhelming.
I think we've all had like suicidal thoughts before.
You think so? Even people that's not?
I think some people, they may not want to admit it, but I didn't have suicidal thoughts during my postpartum, but I had them when I was younger, a teenager, when I had bumps on my face. When like, I don't want to be here no more, or you went through a real hard time. We all, I strongly believe that everybody has had those type of thoughts in some point of their life, whether they have money or not. I really believe that. Now, for someone to act upon it, now, this is what I was going to say, like with women who have harmed their babies, or, or people who have committed suicide, that's when that thought has become out of their control, and they allow the enemy to come in. And it got magnified to the point that they could not do anything about it, because it's a root there. You know what I mean? And it could be generational too. There's generational curses and things like that, because it's like, where did postpartum? It's like all these mental things.
What is so evil? It's like sick thoughts.
It's demonic, and so it's definitely the enemy got a loophole. He got a foothold, and he got in to where it was just out of their control, and then they didn't have the right help around them. Or they weren't speaking, about it or whatever. And then if you don't have that, and if you're not, or if you don't have a relationship with God and know how to battle and combat that, that's why we need the Holy Ghost.
Absolutely.
Because the Holy Ghost is going to lead and guide us.
Absolutely.
Because, being saved is good. We need to have that, be that. But you got to have a substance that's going to keep you when you do have things that's happening in your mind. How I'm going to fight the battle of the mind if I don't have the Holy Spirit fighting. Because sometimes you want to be left alone. You don't want it when you going through things like that. You
just go like this. This is how I can, like.
You want to be alone.
It's like this. It's like, I don't want to. A
mother could be lonely too. Because you're dealing with situations, don't know how to get out of that. And then,
nobody understands what you're thinking, because you don't really understand what you're thinking.
Exactly. So, but if you have the Holy Spirit, like, hey, that's the wrong thing to be thinking. That's get back on track. Get off of social media. Get off of this. Get in the Word. And sometimes I know some people don't want to get down and pray. I've been there. Like, there's plenty of times I went through stuff. I'm like, I don't feel like
God, I just don't feel like talking about, or like I'll say sometimes, I'll be like, God, I don't have the words. it's like I know I should be praying what I'm
Yeah.
experiencing right now.
Yeah.
I don't have the words.
But you have to
know
remind
what to
yourself
say.
of the word. Like if you in the word, you got to remind yourself through those hard times. It'd be the hardest thing to do. But the word says that he'll never leave us nor forsake us.
I believe it.
And since he said that, I have to believe that over that thought that's telling me he left me.
Yeah, that's good.
You know?
And that same thing
Yeah.
kind of helped me as well.
Yeah.
Well, not kind of. It did help me.
It did.
It did help me.
did.
Would you say that because you know your husbands
Mm-hmm.
our husbands are going to be there.
Yes.
And they're our friends. You know,
Yeah.
we can talk to them.
Right.
But do you think your husband was supportive at that time when you experienced that, like, or? Because I think our minds can kind of play tricks on us
Yeah.
that we thinking that they're not supportive, when
That
really
we're
they
all
just don't
alone.
understand, right? Or that
Yes.
we're all alone.
Yes, absolutely. What it was is for me, my situation, my husband was extremely supportive, but my situation, my mind was
telling you.
blocking him out.
That's crazy.
So where it made it seem like he wasn't. And then could you imagine being a single mom going through that?
I say it every day. I say it
My
every
hat
day.
go out to I don't know what it's like. I don't.
I'm
and I
like-
want to be real. I want to be transparent. I really don't know what it's like. I watch people, and I'm an observer. So I watched them, and I was like, I couldn't even imagine having to go through raising a baby by myself. Like it is a lot of work.
With help, it's a lot.
Ooh, with help is a lot. Exactly. So imagine that woman that's out there raising these kids that may have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, and then they're alone or by themselves. Like I don't know. I couldn't imagine, like with no real support system.
Yeah.
That gotta be hard. My hat go out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it.
And shout out to the husbands that's
out.
super supportive, even when you
That's
don't
involved.
understand. That's involved.
Yes, that cook. My husband cooks.
Look,
Everything.
so you're not the cook.
No. And if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Hey, you ain't wrong.
24 years strong, baby. 27 going on 20. We've been together since I was 15. But he's always been the cook. And I know how to cook. That's what's crazy. But it's just, I don't
want to
to
do
cook.
it.
I don't like to cook. But I will get in there maybe a couple times a year. That's
Nah,
bad.
that's crazy.
That's bad. My grandmama probably rolling in her grave right now. She's like, girl, you got to cook. I was like, grandma, my husband cooked. Now,
And they
clean.
probably hated that because
Yes,
don't nobody
because
want
they
they
get
older
down. They
and
get-
they know
yes.
men. They like, men ain't supposed to be in that kitchen.
So that's why you got to learn how to work your relationship. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
'cause
So-
yours is yours.
And blot out what everybody else is saying. That's what worked for you, boo. But for me and my house,
He that cook.
yeah. I'd be like, baby, what we eating today? And he cooked good. That's my chef.
And I need some of
chef.
that stuff he had made for us a couple
Right.
years ago too, because it is good. Whatever it was.
Now I
need
do
it.
my part, and I be asking. I be feeling bad too though. Sometimes I be like, you want me to you need my help? He's like, babe, I got it. You go sit down and do what you're doing, or I got the kids, and we both. And he's very involved with the kids. Like your
That's
husband,
good.
very, very involved. Like my family can really vouch for it. Y'all could testify to that. Very involved, and so I don't know how the women y'all are strong, because I don't know how y'all can do it without the help that we have.
And
It's a lot.
And I asked my mom, I'm like, but my mom say, y'all wasn't the way like y'all kids is nowadays. She's like,
it's
y'all
different.
didn't act like that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think we just be wanting our kids to be so free. We don't
Yeah.
want to cage them up.
Yeah,
like
because that's not always good either. My husband
Right.
and I was having this conversation the other day where when our parents grew up. So I'm older than you though.
yeah, you
So,
a
a
couple years
generation
younger than my
behind
mom.
me.
You said 42.
Now you're trying to make me feel no.
No, my mom 5 years, 5,
Yes.
6 years older than you.
So
Okay.
she got me about a little bit. So
Yeah.
I can be on 18.
Yeah, 18.
Don't be calling me 18 now.
No, there you go. I was gonna say 18.
Okay. No, you good. I receive it. But so we was having a conversation about how when my mom grew up, they could not. What went on in the house stayed in the house. You better not tell nobody nothing that went on in this house. And then just imagine her parents, like they really were mute. They were quiet about things that were happening to them.
Yeah, and wouldn't say
and
nothing.
about how they felt, and that didn't make it right. So they held all that stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
So I can imagine the anxiety and mess they went through. But then when we came up, I think our generation, shout out to what am I, a millennial?
I
I'm a
don't be
millennial.
understanding them.
I'm a millennial.
What's Gen Z? The latest one?
I think they the latest ones.
Oh, okay.
Don't give me the line.
I don't
but
know if
I know
I'm Gen
for a
Z or
fact
not.
I'm a millennial. So
Okay.
I ain't that. I'm kind of in between. So I got a little bit of the
Yeah.
old school and new school. So
Yeah.
I got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
We're the best. Shout out to the
Hold on,
Asian
because I
babies.
do too.
Yeah, you do.
I
Not
think
like me, though.
I think I chose to get a little bit of the old school. I was trying
You
to
had
dip.
a pager though. I had a pager.
No, I had no
I'm
pager.
trying-
you know.
I'm trying to tell
I
you.
saw somebody with one.
Yeah.
I saw
So, yeah, when you
Raymond
was
had
coming
one.
up, you was kids.
Raymond had one.
Yep.
I saw it.
So I knew what it was to go use a payphone. We got that little pager.
Yeah.
When they would beep us or whatever, so we'd be happy. I had a house phone for Christmas. I was like, I want a house phone. We didn't have cell phones or whatever. So I got the best of both worlds, but we wanted to make an environment where our kids feel free to talk to us. Don't hold that stuff in. We wanted to break the generational curse.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's what
And so my mom be like, well, you can't just let them do that like that. I'm like, I understand. And you're right, because they do need to be a little bit of order, because these kids will run you sick if you let them.
Because they don't fear nothing. So that's the scary part.
Yeah.
They don't fear nothing like these kids nowadays. And so we still have to be firm and incorporate what we learn too. But also, our parents need to give us the space to parent on our own. You know what I mean? Like,
I think my mom switched her parenting from like the first two, like me and Rainier, like what?
Oh yeah.
And then with the last two was the same age as your daughter. So it's just like, it just changed once with them two. I'm like,
there was
okay.
a shift.
It was a shift that happened. I'm like, how come they get to do that?
Yes, they get away with murder.
How is that okay?
Yes.
How?
Like, you just got lax. And it's a lot to do with age. So when she had y'all, she was younger. And then when she got older, y'all go help get them kids. Go. I be telling my oldest, like, can you please just get him? What do he want? Like, you don't have as much patience.
Yeah. And that's probably what it is. She just tired. Look,
We be tired.
But I really appreciate you coming on the show. I want
you so much for
to
having me.
give some encouraging words, if you don't mind, to maybe mamas that's coming up in the ministry, that's having kids, business owner, or just all the different many hats that you wear.
Absolutely.
What advice you would give to these women out here, mommies?
I would. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really enjoyed myself. I don't even want to leave.
Look, we having fun.
Yes, so much fun. But if I can give some advice to some moms out here that are wearing many hats, and you may not be wearing those hats yet, but mamas, you know, we do everything. We do a lot. Like, I might not cook, but those that are cooking and, incorporate that, but I clean, y'all. I do everything else. So, but I want to just encourage you to be consistent. Consistency is key with any relationship, with anything that you do. So if you are doing something with your children, don't half-step it. Do it, especially with your kids. Those are your babies. A lot of times, I've seen where, I don't want to say that it was like bad mothers or whatever, but I've seen moms who could have done more, and I could have done more as a mom. I could have done more as well, but just being consistent, because we got to think about that these are the babies that God gave us, and we held these babies. They are a part of us. We have nurtured these babies, so we cannot neglect our babies that God gave us. So being consistent in those relationships with your children is key. Even when your kids try to waver to the side, just be encouraged and stand on in there, hang on in there. And when you put God first in with the relationship with your children, it will get smoother. And I have experienced that already. And like I was telling Jazz earlier, like I took some blessed oil and I went and anointed my kids' rooms. Sometimes they be sleep. I'm that mama that they be having on Instagram.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
me too.
You be touching them while they sleep. They be waking up like, what's going on? They thought the rapture was here.
No, that's me. I've been doing it since they were tiny.
Yes. So I just want to encourage the mothers to let you know that you all know that you are doing a great job, and don't even let your children make you feel like you're not. I know a lot of times if it's something that you can't buy them, then you feel bad about that. No, do what you can do with your best that you have. So just be encouraged and put God first, and you will be just fine.
It's going to be okay, Mama.
It's going to be all right.
Thank y'all. Yes. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you comment any other moms that you may want to see on the show, any other things that you may want to know about. Maybe you want to have Pastor K come back. Maybe, I don't know. Ask some questions that you may want answered. Make sure you guys follow the social medias, and we're going to catch you on the next episode. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.